Andrew Flitton here again, and over the years I've enjoyed Kentucky Fried Chicken immensely, as I'm sure many of you have. Quite a few people have tried to crack the recipe, but one of the problems with Kentucky Fried Chicken is that it's not actually deep fried with breadcrumbs and things. If you use that method, you can get results, and very tasty they are, but you will never get the same finish and the same succulence that you'll get from buying a KFC. So I've been experimenting over the last 20 years or so to try and get the results as near perfect as possible. I've tried this idea out dozens and dozens of times. It does work, and you will get fantastic, authentic Kentucky Fried Chicken just the way it tastes out of the shops. I've got 4 boned out chicken thighs, which I'm going to wash in a second after I've made my mix up. Now, the key part of the ingredients is not breadcrumbs, okay? One of the key elements that makes the coating stick to the chicken is the use of something like corn flour. And also we're using corn meal as well, along with flour. So those 3 things will help to really glue the mix to the chicken. One of the things to remember, of course, is that chicken is a very delicate bird, and that it needs to be cooked properly to get the moisture out. But also there's hygiene, of course, because as we know, there are all sorts of problems with cooking chicken. So hygiene, make sure you clean all your plates are clean, things like that, and make sure you thoroughly wash your chicken, which is what we're going to do in a minute. I'm not going to do it now because there's a reason for that, and I want to show you when I've taken you through the secret ingredients. Okay then, the ingredients for Kentucky Fried Chicken. The Colonel always said that they were anything that most people would have in their own cupboards, etc. So there's a lot of little things that you can buy anywhere, you can buy all this stuff in supermarkets, and the main flavours that come through with KFC are a sort of salty, peppery flavour, which is underlined by a few oniony, garlicky type flavours, which are very, very subtle indeed. One of the things that you need to bear in mind is that if it doesn't taste exactly right, it's just a slight adjustment with things like onion powder and garlic powder, which, you know, you'll vary it to your own tastes, I think. But let's just run through the ingredients now, because there's some quite interesting things here. 11 spices, he says, so it's not just spices, there's flour there, corn flour, etc. And of course things like paprika. So let's just have a run through. We've got ordinary table salt. We've got sea salt crystals. The ordinary table salt gives it the depth. The sea salt crystals give it a nice sweetness. We have here powdered black pepper, or finely ground black pepper. We have mustard powder, which is used very, very sparingly. We have onion powder, which is used quite sparingly as well, and sparingly also is the garlic powder. Then the bulking out, oh yes, of course, we've got white pepper as well. And paprika, of course. So they're your main components. Okay, well, first of all, I'm going to put in a little bit of salt. Not too much, but the salt does come out. So a little bit of salt there. Then I'm going to put in a little bit of this sea salt. Okay, and that will just give it a nice finish. Some ground black pepper, quite a bit of that actually. There's enough in this bag to make the whole lot. So there we are, there's the ground black pepper. Like I say, they have got it off to a science, but we're going to do it the easy way here today, and just for your own enjoyment, adjust the flavour slightly to what you like yourself. So here we are, just a tiniest bit of mustard. So okay, so the mustard is one of the flavours which underpins the actual Kentucky flavour. We've now got onion powder, not too much of this, just a little sprinkling. Okay, So that's your onion powder there. Okay, now we've got your white pepper. Okay, so we don't use much of this at all, just a tiny bit. There we are, white pepper. So there we are. Then we have your garlic. This is garlic granules, by the way. So let's just get these garlic granules in there. Just a few of those. I'm doing, you know, just what I think I've perfected the recipe over the years. So you see, we're building up the ingredients now. And now for a bit of paprika. Just a bit of paprika like that. Okay, and that's your main ingredients, which I'm going to mix around like so. Okay, we're going to add some of this cornmeal. This is a particularly good brand. I think I got this from one of the supermarkets. So this is the secret of not using the breadcrumbs, right? If you look at KFC, it's very almost floury and mealy rather than being a crumb coated thing. So that is if you go for the original genuine KFC. I know there are a lot of other places doing what they call fried chicken, but it is just that, it's fried chicken. But this is the KFC secret revealed. So this is a bulking agent, so I'm going to put quite a bit of that in. Okay, because this gives it a nice flavour as well. The cornmeal gives it a lovely sort of American-y flavour. Then I'm just going to get a spoon out and I'm going to put in some of this corn flour. Okay, this helps it to stick and also gives it a consistency that's going to make it like KFC. So a couple of couple of dessert spoons of that there. I'm just going to mix that around a little bit just to show you. Okay. Okay, and then the last ingredient, which is self-raising flour. So I'm just going to pour some self-raising flour in there like that, just a bit. Okay, and mix that round thoroughly now. So this is the important part, making sure that your mix is right. Now, if anybody's ever seen them doing this in a KFC, you'll note that this is around the right colour. It's got a creamy, almost ready colour from the mustard powder, the cornmeal, and the paprika. So there we are. That's our famous mix. Colonel Sanders would be proud of me, I'm sure. Okay, for all you hygiene freaks, I've already washed this chicken once, so we're going to do it again just for the purposes of the camera. Nice and thoroughly. Just clean it there, and then we're going to do each lovely piece of chicken. But like I say, I find thighs are better because you can get a more succulent, intense flavour from thighs. The brown meat is always more flavoursome than white meat. I know that KFC cut up all the chicken into their own various components. Okay, well, we've got our cleaned up chicken here, we've got our coating that we've prepared, and we're now going to put the coating onto the chicken, which is simplicity itself. So I'm going to take one of these chicken thighs and I'm just going to drop it in the coating and cover it over with the mixture. It's as simple as that. Make sure you coat it thoroughly. Okay, now there we are. We're just going to give that a little shake and that goes on the baking tray like that. All we've got to do now is wash our hands, make sure everything's thoroughly clean. Then we're going to pop them in a preheated oven, which is on gas mark 4. And we're going to leave them, this is the secret, to cook them slowly for an hour and a quarter. Okay, so if you try to rush it, you'll just burn the skin and it'll crisp up and it all won't be very nice. But to get that tender succulence, you need to cook it slowly and to let the fats and the skin work with the coating to get that lovely end result. I'll probably turn them twice in an hour and a quarter, then I'm going to take them out of the oven and let them rest. Okay, well, I'm just going to turn off the oven now and take out the Kentucky Fried Chicken. which we see is nicely coated. What I'm going to do now is to rest it, but the great thing about this recipe is if you look at the bottom of the pan, all the fats come off it. So this is in actual fact the low fat version. So we're going to put it on the plate now. And this is low fat KFC as it should be. So it's going to be delicious. I'm just going to take this pan away now, and that will go for washing in a second. And there we have it.